Know Thyself here. And today I want to talk about the lessons that you can learn from failure. So, you know, you think about all the times in your life that you have tried something and it didn't work out. And for so many of us, especially men, we move on from our failures as quickly as possible, which is understandable. Sometimes when you try to do something and you fail at it, um, the tendency of the mind is to quickly move on from it, to forget about it, and to learn the lessons as quickly as possible and get it behind you. Because if you're gonna try something, a lot of times if you fail at it, the failure might be public, it might be out in the open, and it might be embarrassing. And there's a tendency for the human spirit and for just the human psyche to uh, move away from things that are embarrassing. But you have to understand that if you are going to learn something from the failure, it is necessary to sit in the failure. It is necessary uh, to evaluate the failure, to look at it objectively. If you tried something and it didn't work, sometimes you need to sit and go through the full assessment of why it didn't work, because there's probably some lessons in why the thing that you tried didn't work. Now, here is the uh, piece that you really need to listen to. You should be trying things. You should be trying things all of the time. You should be taking risks. You can only fail at something if you try to do something. There is no nobility in not trying because you think you might fail. That is not an excuse for not trying. That is not an excuse for not stepping out, taking a leap of faith, and taking a risk to do the thing that you want to do. As a matter of fact, let's take it one step further or go a higher level on this. You should be actively seeking opportunities to fail, because your failures will be numerous, your successes will be few. But if you learn something from your failures and your successes, but more specifically, if you learn something from your failures, then the handful of successes that you do see will be massive. Let's break that down. How does that work? So most great people have a handful of successes and a mountain of failures, right? They might have grains of successes, but their failures are mountain-like. What does that mean? That means that these are people that have tried a lot of different things, and most of them didn't work. But if you commit yourself to the process of learning from the failure, and we'll talk about what it means to learn from the failure, then the lessons that you learn from that failure will propel you and prepare you to not make those same mistakes. And then you'll see a success, and then you'll say, oh, okay, that one was a success. That thing that I tried actually worked. Cool. And a lot of times when you do hit a success, it is a big success. So you might have some spectacular failures, you might have a lot of small failures, a lot of small setbacks, try something, it didn't work. The economy wasn't right. You weren't right. The business model wasn't right. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why if you try something and it might not work. The key is not to not try, though. The key is to keep trying. One of the things that I found is valuable for me is to operate in silence. What does that mean? That means that when you are trying something, you're creating a venture, maybe you're going to start selling something, or maybe you're going to open up some kind of business or something. Before it is 100% necessary that you let people know. Like, for example, let's say that you were going to open up a store, and let's say it was going to be a physical storefront. You want to let people know that you're going to open this store when it is 100% necessary for you to let people know, and not a minute, not a second before that. Because a lot of times when you have something that you're trying to do, you're going to get pushback from people who care about you. You're going to get pushback from people who claim to love you. They do love you. They do care about you. They just don't want to see you fail. So those are going to be the very people who would a lot of times might try to discourage you from doing anything. So what you want to do is when you are considering starting something, you want to keep your mouth shut until you are ready and it is 100% necessary for you to tell somebody. There's an old saying in hip hop music says, bad boys move in silence. That's true. You should not publicize your intentions on a project or on something that you're doing until you are 100% fully committed and it is necessary for you to tell people. Like, for example, when opening day of that business is. All right, so grand opening is in a month. I have to start telling people now because I've done all of the pre-planning. I've done all of the work of getting everything together. I've done all of the legwork, all of the preliminary work, and now I have to tell people because I'm selling something to the public. That is the time when you tell people that your business is up and that you have something going, and not a minute before. This guards against failure before things get started. But we're going to talk about assessing the failure. Very important that when you fail, you stop down. You pull the vehicle over, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. You take a pause and you assess the failure. This is where the lessons are. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? Do you have the correct temperament or attitude for this particular business venture? Is it you? Is it the people that you're working with? Is it the materials? Is it the timing? Do you not have the skill set yet to be able to complete this objective and execute on this particular idea? Do you not have the capital? Do you not have the money? These are all of the things that you have to think about and assess. Did you read the market wrong? Are you selling to the wrong customers? Are you marketing to the wrong people? Is there a market for the product that you're selling that you thought there was? These are all the things that you have to ask yourself, and about 1 million more questions other than this. But these are the things you have to ask yourself when you do come across a failure. And when you say, I tried that and it didn't work. Ooh, that was a spectacular failure. Stop down, ask yourself a series of questions, learn who you are in that process. That way you have a clearer picture of what the type of venture, business, idea that you need to go into that better suits your skill set. So stopping down, learning from the failure, increasing your knowledge base on why this particular idea or this venture didn't work, and then moving forward with that new information and new knowledge is what helps you moving forward. So the idea of failing, there's a book that you should get. It's a book you should read. It's called Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. I've read that book 3 times at this point. I highly suggest that if you're in the business of doing things that are big, having big ideas, there's things that you want to do, I highly suggest you pick up the book and you read Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. And I hope you read it more than once, because trust me, each time you pick up these types of books, these type of personal development type books, every single time you read it, you're a different person when you're reading it for the second, third, or fourth time, and you're gonna see things in the book that you didn't see before when you read it the previous time, the first time. So I'm a big proponent of reading books to learn your particular style and how you operate, and learning yourself so that you know, hey, when I try this, this is what I have a tendency of doing. And when the going gets rough, I do this. So how do I guard against that? How do I make sure that the business or the venture that I'm going to go into, I can navigate my own resistance to certain trigger points and overcome them so that I can push forward and make this and execute on this idea. This is the internal work, the internal dialogue, the internal assessment of you that you must do when you are thinking about doing something. So, executing the idea, learning who you are, failing often, trying things. Trying things is very important. Keep trying, keep working, don't give up, and when it's all said and done, you will be a success. But one of the most important things you have to do is learn. And one of the biggest places that you can learn is from your own failures. So don't forget to learn from your failures. Don't forget to stop down and take some time to assess so that you can find those nuggets of wisdom that will carry you forward into the next venture. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Know Thyself. If you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next video. All right, take care. Bye.